Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. As you can tell from the title of this video, the reason I'm sitting here barefaced today is because we are going to be applying and testing out a full face of Catrice makeup. I have only ever tried a couple of things from Catrice in the past. They are available in the country where I'm from, which is Hungary, so I used to have a couple of things from them in the past. But honestly, I don't really remember how they perform. I know a couple of the products, like the eye pencils, are really good, and I know that their foundation and concealer are really famous, but that's about it. I've never tried any of the products that I'm going to be using in today's video, so I'm really excited to test out this brand. I have done a couple of similar videos in the past where I've tested out a full face of products from one brand. The reason I don't do these videos that often is because they are extremely expensive. So all I've done so far was Essence and this kind of cheaper brands. I think I will probably do Makeup Revolution next, just because I have used a lot of their products in the past, but I honestly haven't picked up anything from them lately. So I'm really interested to see how the new products are that they have recently released. But anyhow, back to today's topic. We are going to be testing out Catrice products today. And the first product we're going to be testing out is this primer. It's called Prime and Fine Pore Refining Anti-Shine Base. So basically it's just a mattifying primer. It's 30 milliliter. I bought it on Notino, which is a UK website, but they import all of their products from abroad, and that makes them actually quite significantly cheaper than they would be if you purchase them in the UK. So I think £3.80 is a quite good price for this product. I know that in the US, in Ulta, this retails for $7.99, which is crazy. That is a lot more expensive than it is here in the UK, but I guess that's just the deal with delivering these products overseas. When you're buying an American product in Europe, it's gonna be more expensive here, and when you're buying a product like Catrice, Makeup Revolution or Essence in America, that's gonna be more expensive over there because everyone will need to pay those extra taxes. So I just took some of this product and I'm gonna apply it all over the face. I would definitely say that this is fragrance free, to be honest, because it smells like any other creamy product would. It's a quite nice thick primer, and I really like it because it's silicone free, and there's just something about me. I hate silicone based primers or anything with silicone in it. I just feel like they feel really just uncomfortable on my skin. This primer feels really good. It feels a bit cooling, refreshing, but also moisturizing, and it left my skin feel slightly sticky, which is, I guess, nice. Anyhow, this is how it is so far. I can't really say too much about the primer without having any product on top of it, but it feels really good. The next product we're going to apply is obviously the foundation. I've got the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation here today. I feel like this is the most famous product from Catrice. A lot of people say that this foundation is amazing, and this was the one product I was the most excited about when I decided to film a full face of Catrice on my channel. I have wanted to pick up this foundation before, but we don't have Catrice in store in the UK, so like I said, I had to purchase everything online. The price of this product in the UK is around £6.60, £6.95, depending on where you pick it up. The most shades I have seen available for this foundation was 8 shades, which is not really good. The darkest shade, Caramel Beige, is only this dark, so that's definitely not going to suit darker skin tones, unfortunately. But you need to remember that this is not a huge brand, and this is definitely a European brand, and I feel like European brands are still learning that there are skin tones other than Caucasian people's skin tones. But anyhow, You have 8 shades available. Mine one is 020 Rose Beige, which is the third darkest shade in the range. And as you can see, I'm actually quite a pale person, so if my skin tone is already the middle of the range, then that means that you are not going to cover quite a lot of people, unfortunately. On the website, they say that this is a full coverage matte foundation that doesn't smudge, budge or transfer. It creates an airbrush-like effect and it acts like a second skin to produce a flawless complexion. That's a lot of claim. Basically, they say that it's going to be full coverage, it's not going to transfer, it's not going to budge, but it's also going to look like a second skin, which means that it's completely undetectable. So I'm very interested to see if they can deliver all that. First of all, I don't really like this dropper, but I guess if I accepted it from Tarte, then I'm gonna get over it and just accept it again. I'm gonna put some of it straight on my brush and start applying it. The color looks like a really good match. It's basically my skin tone, just after cancelling out all of the redness. If I really want to be nitpicky, I could have gone darker, which sounds horrible because that would literally put me right in the middle of the shade range. I'm gonna put some of the back of my hand just to test out if it oxidizes. I'm gonna carry on applying it on the face. It smells really lovely. It does have a little bit of a scent to it, but I don't think it's going to bother anyone. It's a really, really faint scent. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I've stopped using sponges to apply foundation and concealer, and I don't know, I just feel like it's much quicker and it just looks better using a brush. So in the last 2 months, every time I apply my foundation, I applied it with a brush, and so far I'm very happy with it. It's easier to clean the brush as well than it would be to clean the beauty blender, so why not? And I definitely need significantly less product than I used to need from my beauty blender. Now, this doesn't mean that I threw my beauty blender out, but I just feel like the foundation application is just much easier and it actually ends up looking better using less product. So yeah, recently I've been all about using brushes for that. Also with the YouTube videos I watch, I moved towards watching actual makeup artists instead of watching YouTubers, and I feel like makeup artists are much more about that natural look, just emphasizing what looks good about you, giving you a glow, giving you a nice tan, instead of completely transforming the way you look. So whilst in my eyeshadow palette reviews I do really exaggerated and artistic eye makeup looks, in real life I have been using very little eyeshadow, literally just a couple of shades to give some depth to the look, but other than that I haven't really been using eyeliner or all of these like glitters and all that. I'm trying to look as natural as possible. So I'm gonna leave this on the back of my hand a little bit. We're gonna wait until it dries down and then come back and see if it oxidized. We're gonna move on to the concealer now, and for that I've got the liquid Camouflage concealer. I found out about this concealer when I bought the e.l.f. Camouflage concealer, and obviously when I was searching for the name Camouflage concealer they both came up. I purchased this in the shade 010 Porcelain, which is going to be obviously lighter than my skin tone, but I still wanted it to have a cool pink undertone because I have a lot of pink in my skin, and whilst I would love to cancel that out, I actually feel more comfortable being pink, as weird as that sounds. When I have too much yellow in my foundation or my concealer, I feel like it looks really unnatural on me, so I like to stick with the pinkier, cooler undertones. This concealer retails for about £2.50, £3, which is really, really good. So I want to see how it's going to apply. I'm gonna just add some of it under the foundation. As you can see, it's a lot lighter than the foundation. I'm gonna be interested to see how much coverage we get from it. The doe foot applicator is also really, really small. Oh, by the way, I haven't seen any video reviews about any of these products because I didn't want them to affect the way I feel about these products. All I knew before I sit down filming today was that people seem to enjoy this concealer and this foundation quite a lot, and I honestly haven't heard about any of the other products we're reviewing today. So as you can see, I'm applying the concealer using a brush as well, and I really diffuse it in the surrounding area because I want it to look as natural as possible. And as you can see, I added some in the areas where my face naturally creates a shadow as well. Basically just trying to brighten up that area to hopefully appear a bit younger, if that's even possible. Okay, it looks good so far, but I want to add some more in my inner corners. I do that almost every time. It's definitely not the thickest, most full coverage concealer I have ever had, but it seems to be bearable. Sometimes when you have a fuller coverage one, for example this e.l.f. Camouflage one, they can feel a bit too thick and too creamy, and then they just gonna start creasing. This one doesn't do that. It reminds me a little bit more of the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer because it's not that thick, but it still gives you that illuminating effect you're looking for. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this concealer. I'm just gonna zoom you in very quickly. I want to show you how my face looks like after using the primer, foundation and concealer. Obviously it still looks really shiny because I haven't set it yet, but I'm very happy with the outcome so far. I think the foundation looks lovely. I have to agree with it that it did do a really good job with the coverage, and whilst I wouldn't say that it looks like a second skin, I can definitely tell that I'm wearing foundation, but it looks like a really decent foundation, so I'm very happy with it. I'm actually a lot happier than I was with the Wet n Wild foundation I tried out when I was using it for a similar video before. I thought that they are gonna be quite similar, but this one is definitely a lot better. Alright, so now to set this, we're gonna be using the Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder, and this is in the shade Transparent. It comes with a mirror, which is lovely. The shade looks quite light, almost white on the camera. In real life it's a really light shade of beige, but they promised this to be transparent. I was originally considering to get a loose powder, but honestly I was quite happy to get a pressed powder instead, because with loose powder I feel like you always waste a lot of product, you use too much. It's quite messy because you will always have the product flying everywhere, and I don't do baking anyway, so I don't need that excess amount of product under my eyes. And I feel like especially for traveling, something like this is a lot better. This retails for about £4, £4.50 in the UK. Again, in the USA, in Ulta, it's $7.49, which is almost double. So if you're in the USA and you decide to pick up any of these products and you find that they are quite expensive for what they are, believe me, the company didn't intend it to be that expensive. It's just that with all of the duty taxes and everything unfortunately that's the price in the USA. But if you ever come to Europe, especially somewhere like Germany, you will be able to pick it up anywhere you go, and I think you should, because so far everything is lovely. The foundation still haven't completely dried on the back of my hand, so I'm gonna leave it for now. We're gonna come back to that a little bit later. The next thing I wanna do is my eyebrows, so I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit and we're gonna get started with those now. So the next product we're gonna test out is the Slimmatic Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. I have this in the shade Dark, and it retails between £2.80 and £2.95. It's available in 6 different shades: light, warm brown, cool brown, dark, medium, and chocolate. And you get 0.05 grams of product, which is a really small amount of product. You get a spoolie on one end, but it's a really cheap looking spoolie, I must say. So it's definitely not the best I've ever had. However, when I bought more expensive brow products, such as the NARS brow pencil, I got a similarly cheap looking spoolie with that one as well. So I guess it makes really no difference. This is how the shade Dark looks like. I think it's going to be a really good match for my brows. So I'm just going to jump right into applying it. It's really creamy and pigmented, which is not necessarily a good sign when it only contains 0.05 grams of product, because that basically means that you're gonna finish it very quickly. The application itself is super quick and easy though, because it glides on so effortlessly. And the head is so precise that it goes exactly where you wanted it to go. So you're gonna be done in seconds. But unfortunately, even with one brow done, I already had to twist the pencil quite a lot of times, because like I said, it's really creamy. A lot of product comes out. This is all the product you get, so it's not a lot. However, considering the price, you're still a lot better off with this than you would be with something like the NARS one, or the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, or even the Benefit one. So I'm quite happy with that. And like I said, it was really quick and I really like the color. My only issue is that when I brush through it using this spoolie, it does tend to come off, so I don't know how long lasting it will be. And for me, that's quite important, because when I'm wearing makeup, I tend to touch my brows, and if my brows come off when I touch them, that is a disaster. I feel like the foundation is dry enough now. It still looks a little bit shiny, but I don't think it's gonna dry down any more than that. So just gonna put some next to it. Oh yes, that is the fresh one, that is the dry one. It does oxidize quite a lot, and the thing that I don't mind at all is that it turns more pink, but it certainly has oxidized a lot on my skin. So I just went and grabbed the 2 eyebrow pencils I was talking about, and I want to compare them next to each other. I want to see how easy it is to remove the 3 of them. So the first one is going to be the Catrice one. The second one is the Urban Decay one. I know it looks a bit sharper because it's a brand new one, I just opened this. And the last one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. The Anastasia Beverly Hills one is quite a lot drier than the first one, so I had to run through the color once again because it was hardly even showing up. With a drier eye pencil, it's normally harder to remove it, but it's also harder to build it up. So it normally takes me a long time to do my eyebrows with the Anastasia one, but nevertheless, we are not here to discuss how hard it is to build up, but we're here to test out how hard it is to remove each of them. So I'm going to quickly rub them off and see which one moves the most. So this is the first, second, and third. I'm not sure. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought. If I keep rubbing it, yeah, it doesn't come off any more than that. That's amazing. I actually thought that it's completely going to come off, but it doesn't, which means that despite the creamy application, I don't need to worry about it coming off, so I'm happy with that. The next product I have here is called Brow Colorist. And I actually thought that this is gonna be just your normal brow product that you run over your brows. But then when I received it, I looked at the packaging and it says darker brows in 2 weeks. And I was like, hold on, because I don't want darker brows. My brows are already technically black. They are completely different than my hair color, so I don't need them to be darker than this. But it is called a semi-permanent brow mascara, so we are gonna test it out anyway because this is what we have for today's video. This is the applicator. The brushes seem to be really fine and tiny, and the whole applicator is really slim, which I'm really happy about because I hate those big applicators. One of the only reason that I'm still buying the Benefit version is because of the tiny applicator, but honestly this is lovely. And whilst it seems to pick up a very small amount of product, it's also very good in distributing that small amount of product. So even though first I thought, oh, I'm not gonna get anywhere with this amount of product, it's actually not the case. It actually coats your brows really well. By the way, the Brow Colorist Brow Mascara could retail anywhere between $3.25 and $3.75 depending on which website you pick it up on. Now let's move on to some colors because the face still looks quite plain. The first product we're going to be using is the Romantic Gardens Everyday Face and Cheek Palette. It has a mirror inside and it says beauty, it's time to bloom. You receive 3 different blushes. 2 of them are shimmery, 1 of them is matte. You also receive a matte bronzer and you receive a really beautiful highlighter as well. I purchased this palette for £13 from Notino, but a couple of days ago I went to TK Maxx and I saw it for £3 or £4. So if you're gonna be interested in this palette, definitely have a look around in your local TK Maxx because they might have one, and for that price it would be absolutely amazing. Even with paying this £13, I'm not mad at all because it's a beautiful palette. I'm going to very quickly insert for you some swatches that I did the other day, and as you can see, all of the colors are absolutely gorgeous. They are all very beautiful. So I'm going to grab my brush and we're going to start applying the bronzer. It's quite a lot warmer than the bronzers I usually wear. And it also seems to be really pigmented. That looks quite nice. I'm gonna move on to the blush now, and whilst we have 2 pink shiny blushes, I actually really want to use this orangey one. I'm normally very gravitated towards orangey blushes. I absolutely love them, and oh, this looks gorgeous. Yes, that looks lovely. Now I'm gonna take some of the highlighter as well And we're just gonna highlight the usual places. Oh, that highlighter is beautiful. It's really, really shimmering. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh, love it. We are going to use that shade again in the inner corner, but for now it's done. I actually feel like this palette is really comparable to the Benefit Cheek Leaders Bronze Squad palette, because you have a shade similar to this called Coralista, one similar to this called Cookie, and obviously this one is similar to the Hula bronzer, even though I feel like this one is a lot easier to blend than the Hula bronzer. And you could say that the first shade is similar to Gold Rush, which is also in that palette. So let me know if you want me to compare this one to the Bronze Squad palette, because I feel like they are very, very similar actually. Okay, so now that the face is done, I want to use some setting spray on it, and for that I'm gonna be using the Catrice HD Active Performance Freezing Spray. It's a really, really small product. You're only getting 50 milliliter. And the price is going to be somewhere between £4.20 and £4.50, so it is quite affordable. Now I'm really interested in this so-called freezing spray. I've never tried anything like that before, but I feel like it must be really, really refreshing. So we're going to test this out next and see how it feels. Okay, first of all, it doesn't really have a scent to it. It feels nice and refreshing on the skin, and I feel like if you wait about 10 to 15 seconds, you actually can feel that cooling effect. So it's a really, really cool little spray. I just feel like it's really tiny. You're gonna finish this very, very quickly. Also, make sure your mouth is not open when you spray it, because otherwise you're gonna have this like tingling feeling on your tongue like I do. Now we're gonna move on to the eyes, and we're gonna be using the Crystallized Rose Quartz Eyeshadow Palette, and I paid £9.10 for this. It looks absolutely gorgeous. The outlay of the palette really reminds me of the Fenty Beauty eyeshadow palette. If you cover up the purple shade, it's a really, really neutral eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna include some swatches very quickly, and as you can see, they are absolutely stunning. I'm not gonna lie, when I first received this eyeshadow palette, I was quite underwhelmed because I expected something absolutely amazing. It did seem to be more colorful on the pictures. However, once I started swatching it, I realized that these shadows are a billion times more interesting than they first appear to be in the pan. Before we get into applying the eyeshadow, I'm gonna add some shadow shields though, because I have no idea how much fallout to expect. I feel like despite the fact that they called it a rose quartz palette, it's really not rosy shades at all. It's quite a neutral palette. And I'm not even really bothered about using that purple shade because I don't really feel like it goes well with the rest of the colors. I almost feel like they included this purple shade just to somehow match the packaging and not letting it be completely random. So in the palette we get a couple of matte shades. In particular, you get this dark chocolatey brown, this lighter, a little bit cooler brown, the purple color, this peachy shade here, and this cool toned one. And then you also have 4 shimmery shades. So to start with, I'm gonna add the peachy shade to the crease. Oh, that is a lot more pigmented than I thought it would be. I guess that's a good start. And gosh, it's really easy to blend as well. I wanted to definitely have this shade in the makeup look because we used a peachy blush, so I wanted something to kind of hold the look together, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily want to use the shade Trust because it's quite cool tone, so I'm gonna try to go with Memories instead and see how that looks like. So I'm gonna try to go with Memories instead and see how that looks like. Well, one thing is for sure, that these colors are pigmented. I'm gonna use the brush we used before to kind of blend this out. And I'll just repeat the same thing on the other side. Before I would go off camera to take off the shadow shields and prepare the cut crease, I'm just gonna take a little bit more of Endless on a clean brush and I'm gonna run it through on the top. And then I'm gonna take some of Cheerful on the same brush as well. And that's gonna go right under the brow bone. Alright, I'm gonna be back in a second. Let me just prepare the cut crease quickly. Alright, so half cut crease is ready. I'm gonna take on this teeny tiny brush some of Memories again, and I'm just gonna run it through the edge of this cut crease just to really emphasize that line. And then on the inner corner, I'm gonna start taking the shade Love Struck. This is a super shimmery color. God, it's so gorgeous. I also noticed that if you wet the brush with these shades, they're gonna look blindingly shiny. I'm just gonna jump back into Memories now a little bit because I wanna darken up the outer corner and kind of transition Love Struck into this dark color, and I also want to bring it down under my eyes a little bit. I want to try to sharpen up that line again. Alright, that's it for the eye makeup. I think it looks gorgeous. Alright, the next thing I have is an eyeliner called Calligraph Pro Precise 24-Hour Waterproof Eyeliner. The applicator looks like this. I absolutely love felt tip applicators like this. So I honestly hope that this is gonna be a really good eyeliner. It's an intense black shade, just like I like it. So let's get going. This contains 1.2 milliliter of product and it retails for £3. So if it's a good eyeliner for £3, that would be amazing. It has an intense matte black color, and now that I started applying, I can already tell that it does look really, really matte, which is again lovely. I love a good matte black eyeliner. So that's one eye done so far. I think it looks gorgeous and it's really, really precise, which I love. So that's the eyeliner done. I think it looks amazing, especially for the price. It's really nice and black and I love how matte it is, so I'm very happy with that eyeliner. The next product I have is the Glam and Doll Mascara. This is the False Lashes version. They have actually quite a few available. They have volumizing, this one in blue, that's the waterproof version of the False Lashes one. They have Sculpt and Volume, Curl and Volume, simply just Volume. They have Boost Lash Growth Volume. They have Volume and Definition. So whatever you want. They all cost £3.40 and they are all around 9.5 or 10 milliliter. And the outside looks the same, it's just a different color. But like I said before, I got the original False Lashes one. It looks like this, very much reminds me of the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. So let's get into the application now. I very much love my Essence Lush Princess mascaras. I don't think anything comes close to them. The second favorite of mine is definitely the Tarte Light Camera Lashes mascara, which is basically the same as the Essence one, just for more money, and that's why I love the Essence one more. This one is pretty much the same price range as the Essence one, so I'm very curious to see what can another drugstore brand do for you for the same money. I like that it's not clumping the lashes at all. I do feel that it doesn't give you any lengthening or volume to the end of the lashes though, which I normally like. I like when my lashes look longer and fuller, but it has other versions, so maybe you just need to pick up the version that promises to give you volume. As you guys know, I basically never wear false lashes. I do have some at home, even a couple more expensive ones like Lily Lashes or some from Makeup Forever, but I just never seem to want to wear them. For me, wearing false lashes is one, really risky because I'm not really good with the application, and two, it's just something unnecessary extra, and I don't really like the feel of false lashes on my face. I feel like I constantly have something in my eyes, so if I don't have to, and why would I ever have to, I don't really wear false lashes. Back to the mascara, I think it looks really nice. I don't feel like my lashes look particularly longer than normal, but I like how it coated them, especially the bottom lashes look really cute. So yeah, I'm happy with this mascara. It's nothing special. It definitely doesn't come anywhere close to my Essence Lush Princess mascara, but honestly I didn't really expect it to, because that mascara is like one of a kind. But my lashes look alright. I feel like it coated them, so it's job done. The next thing we're going to be using is their Inside Eye highlighter pen. This is literally just a simple skin toned pencil to brighten up that area a little bit. So I'm gonna go on and use this one really quickly. This pencil is about £2.50 and it contains 0.3 grams of product, so it's definitely a lot more product than you get in the eyebrow pencil. This is the one product from Catrice that I've had before, and I was really happy with it because this pencil seems to be quite long lasting. That's one thing I don't like about eye pencils, when they go on quite easily, they're quite creamy, but then they disappear within minutes. And I remember from using this pencil before that it's not just very opaque and very creamy, but it's also very long lasting. So yeah, I think this pencil is beautiful. And the last thing I have here is a lipstick. It is a Demi matte lipstick in the shade Most Flattering Petal Pink. That's quite a long name for a lipstick. The shade looks like this. I think it's a gorgeous pink color. And without further ado, I'm just going to apply it to the lips. It reminds me a little bit of the shade Snob from MAC. It's definitely not a shade that I would normally wear, but it looked completely different on the picture when I ordered it. I thought it was going to be a more muted pink color. Regardless of the shade, it does feel a little bit dry when you apply it. I guess that's due to it being Demi matte. It does appear to be somewhat matte. It's definitely not shiny, but it's also not completely matte, so I agree with that. It's not really opaque. Even with lipsticks, I'm used to a bit more opaque finish from my NARS Audacious lipsticks, and I normally wear liquid lipsticks on my channel, which are obviously completely opaque, so I'm not really used to that, but I would be able to forgive that if it didn't feel like wax on my lips. So this lipstick is definitely not one of my favorites, but you know, you're gonna like everything. So that's it for today. Let's just very quickly wrap up everything. My favorite products from today's video were most definitely the foundation, and I also really loved the face palette. I did enjoy the eyeshadow palette, but I don't think it was anything special. I also do really love the eye pencil that we just used. I think the primer was quite nice, although I don't feel particularly matte, I must say. The setting spray was really nice, but it's really small. The eyeliner pencil was great, but again, nothing special, although I feel like it's really hard to stand out on the eyeliner market. The eyebrow pencil was really nice. It was quite creamy, yet hard to remove, which was a really nice surprise. I wasn't a big fan of the lipstick, as you could tell. Overall, I would say it's a great brand. It's really affordable and the products seem to be really good. I feel like the quality is on par with Essence and Wet n Wild, so if you're interested, definitely give them a try. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I would love to have you here. And until next time, take care of yourself. I will see you very soon. Bye.